On behalf of His Excellency, John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic, it is a pleasure to welcome all of you to Ghana and, of course, to Accra. I hope it's not your first time, and if it is, it won't be your last time. Welcome to Ghana. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, for decades, Africa has been described as a frontier, often by those looking in. What matters now is not so much how we are described, but how we organize ourselves to compete, to integrate, and to build at scale. In that light, another label, that of Ghana as a gateway to Africa, must make clear that a gateway is not just a title. It is a system measured by whether transactions clear, businesses connect speedily, and markets operate with certainty. Ghana's position rests on decades of political stability, a commitment to openness, and a decision to host the Secretariat of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Today, it is not only about proximity to ports or the volume of goods that pass through them, but also who builds the rails, sets the rules, and can sustain confidence in an evolving economy. It was Dr. Kwame Nkrumah who reminded us that Ghana's independence must be linked to the total liberation of Africa. It is still valid. Economic sovereignty now also depends on integration, particularly digital integration, because this is where value is created, exchanged, and controlled. From traders to smallholder farmers to software engineers, participation increasingly depends on the ability to transact, be identified, and operate across borders. Africa has already demonstrated her capacity to leapfrog legacy systems. Mobile money, digital identity, and financial technology have shown what is possible. The task is to move from pockets of progress to continental scale. And the integration of our digital economies requires these four things: payment, identity, regulation, and of course, infrastructure. First, payments. In many cases, intra-African transactions are still routed through financial systems outside the continent and denominated in third currencies. This adds costs and delays and undermines the very idea of a single African market. Through platforms like the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System, some progress is being made. The AfCFTA Digital Trade Protocol, adopted by the African Union, assembled in 2024, provides a framework to reduce this friction through mobile money interoperability, cross-border electronic processes, and integration with regional settlement systems. The objective is for a Ghanaian enterprise to be able to invoice a Guinean client and receive payment in cedis directly, efficiently, and at a reasonable cost. Second, identity. No digital economy can function without trust, and trust begins with identity. Today, large numbers of Africans remain without verifiable digital identities. This excludes them from formal systems and limits their ability to engage cross-border trade. Interoperable identity systems are therefore essential to unlock participation at scale. Third, regulation. Integration does not require identical laws across all countries, but it does require compatibility. Fragmented regulatory environments increase the cost of doing business and discourage innovation. The Digital Trade Protocol provides a basis for alignment, but this work must be carried forward with discipline. Regulatory sandboxes, shared standards, and practical coordination between jurisdictions will make integration real. Fourth, infrastructure. None of these ambitions can be sustained without the underlying capability. Too many Africans remain offline due to cost, coverage gaps, and skills gaps. Africa also represents a small share of global data center capacity. This has implications not only for performance, but also for sovereignty. If our data is stored and processed elsewhere, then even when we participate, we lack control. Investment in broadband, cloud infrastructure, and digital systems must therefore accompany regulatory and policy alignment. Distinguished guests, without disregarding the challenges before us, we must still seize the opportunities. Africa is the youngest continent in terms of population, and technology adoption is accelerating. The next phase of global digital growth must be shaped in emerging markets. Africa is well positioned to play a defining role, particularly in cross-border trade and in applying technology to agriculture, health, education, and public services. Ghana stands ready to contribute to this effort, to ensure that integration is not only discussed in Accra, but also demonstrated everywhere. And I believe you agree to that one. Thank you very much. To that end, allow me to announce a concrete step. Ghana will work with everyone, Rwanda, Zambia, and other partners, to pilot a continental digital trade corridor. This pilot, which will be implemented, tested, and measured, will focus on mobile money interoperability, mutual recognition of digital identity for cross-border KYC, and harmonized electronic invoicing. Distinguished guests, the systems we build will determine whether Africa participates in the global digital economy on her own terms or operates within frameworks defined elsewhere. And integration will be achieved through systems that work consistently across borders and at scale. The work before us is what we know we can do. And I welcome all of you once again to Accra, and thank you for your kind attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Vice President of our Republic, Her Excellency Professor Naana Jane Opoku-Agyemang. Your Excellency the Vice President, would you be kind as to please stay with me as I invite to join you for a few photographs